I've started a fashion page, or yeah, it's a fashion page because I'm very interested in the colors, like Carol Jackson's "Color Me Beautiful" and David Kibbe's Metamorphosis, and I've created a page that combines the concepts from Carol Jackson's "Color Me Beautiful" and David Kibbe's Metamorphosis, and I'm kind of like in an exploratory phase right now because I just discovered that I'm a soft classic. And I always thought I was a soft natural. And it's kind of exciting to explore my new look and to, look a lot better. I'm still exploring. Like I went through my closet, and fortunately, a lot of the clothes that my mother gave me were in the soft classic clothing personality. The reason I thought that I was a soft natural is because, well, first of all, Kibbe's Metamorphosis just divides people up into five body types. There's the classic, and that's somebody who's kind of like medium everything, and their lines are very balanced. Then you have the romantic, somebody who's got a fleshy, luscious body like Marilyn Monroe. Then you have the dramatic, that would be like Cher in our generation. And Keira Knightley's a dramatic too. Anybody with straight, hard lines to their body is a dramatic. And then you have the natural, and this is a person who looks best in casual clothes, and they usually have a muscular body, and their shoulders tend to be more square. And I thought I was a natural because I always thought I had square shoulders, but I don't really. My shoulders are pretty much average. So I'm a I and I always thought that I had a square jaw, but I don't really have a square jaw. I don't know if it's in my old age the jaw has gotten less square, but it's not really a square jaw. So um, I am a classic, and I figured it out by doing my hair. Um, I noticed that when I have a controlled cut, I just cut my hair and it's a little shorter than I want, but it's a controlled cut. And so this is my best look, even if it's short. I'm gonna try to grow it out, but um, I need a cut that looks like it's well cared for. No strange, no frizzies. The problem that I had in the past was I thought I was a natural, and I was reading the soft natural clothing personality. And fortunately, I would buy clothes that were actually soft classic. Like this is kind of soft classic what I'm wearing right now with the kind of lace detail around the neck. That looks really good on a classic. Um, so, and I always thought I had a square jaw, but I actually got the perfect face shape. And usually classics have the perfect face shape. I mean, I didn't realize it, but I do. I think the reason I couldn't figure out that I was a classic is because I've always tended to have an inferiority complex about my looks. I've never felt like I've had a perfect body. I've always felt like my shoulders were square. I didn't see myself straight, but I realized that I am a classic. So, and that just means your body is. I have a link underneath this video that explains that. But what's really funny, I was thinking about how when Brent fell in love with me, and I sent him some pictures of me in the mail, and I was dressed at that. I was just learning these concepts back in 1990. I was exploring my colors and so basically I didn't realize it, but I was dressed as a soft classic. I remember I sent him a picture of me wearing a red church dress with a fake pearl necklace, and that would actually look good on a classic. The only bad part is the shade of red was kind of orangey red, and I'm a winter, so I do better with blue reds. But I was wearing my classic clothing personality, and I also recall that I sent him another picture of me having dinner with my family, and I was wearing a satiny hot pink shirt with I think with silver tone jewelry, and that was classic. So Brent saw these pictures of me and he fell in love with me. And when I was dressed as a soft classic, a typical, you know what really reminds me of how Brent and I started. There's a movie with Joan Fontaine. By the way, Joan Fontaine is a soft classic, and her sister Olivia de Havilland is also a soft classic. So you have to excuse me, but I'm the older generation, so I kind of relate to these actresses from my generation. But in in Rebecca, I see so many parallels between the character of Rebecca, who reminds me of Laurie McBride. The only difference is you might want to reverse the hair colors, and I'm like the Joan Fontaine character. The only difference between the movie Rebecca and my life is that Brent never wanted Laurie McBride. When he had me, I was like his dream woman. And when I came into his life, he didn't want anyone else. He wanted me. He saw that picture of me in that church dress and wearing that satiny shirt. It was totally modest and just looking. I looked like a graceful lady in all my pictures to him, and I never approached him romantically. He made all the moves, and I've really become a strong woman since Brent's come into my life. But when I first introduced myself to Brent, I was a lot like the Joan Fontaine character in the movie Rebecca, a very graceful lady, like an innocent. But because when he called me and made love to me on the phone and said, "I want to rape you," the way he said it, he put so much feeling into what he said. And at that time, I was married to my husband, who was um, not exciting at all to make love to. And so, anyways, I'm dressing more my type. So I've been doing my hair soft classic for the past year. And have you noticed? They say that if you're a classic and you don't do your hair right, it won't matter what else you do right on your body, you will look all bad. It's very, very important for a classic to have a controlled style, not overly controlled, but it must look like it's a well cared for hairstyle. So my goal is to grow this out, and I'd like to get medium length, but still maybe down to about here, this current style. And I found my hair. I cut my own hair. And I'm kind of like a fashion designer. So at my page, my the men my men started a company that produces clothes, and what we do is, like, if you're a guy, we'll analyze your body type and your coloring, and let's take Matthew McConaughey for instance. I believe he is a summer natural, as a man. So if we were to design clothes for Matthew, we would choose rough fabrics, the casual look, and anything that looks unconstricted and free in his manly clothing. Like, he looked really, really good for the People magazine cover shot, where he was voted sexiest man alive. I think it was 2004 or 5, because he had an open chest and it was very natural clothing personality. So Matthew, I believe, is a natural, and when he dresses in his summer colors, that's his best look. And like me, I'm a classic. A classic, everything in her wardrobe needs to look classy and elegant and like a lady, like this. This is kind of like my clothing personality, and I look good with a blended look. So I guess the main thing I want to say is, they've started a propaganda campaign trying to portray me as the crazy lady, and they've got this. But when I introduced myself to Brent, I was anything but the crazy lady. I was graceful, I was a lady, a lot like the Joan, and I did not make any romantic moves on him. My goal when I wrote him was pure friendship. I was just, when I found out he was in love with me, I was amazed. I like the Joan Fontaine character in Rebecca. I always felt like I always had an inferiority complex and never felt like I could ever get a man like Brent Spiner. And that's one of the main reasons I wrote him. I figured I'd be safe with him because I would never be able to get a man like that. And when he fell in love with me as the graceful lady, I was amazed. I didn't think a Hollywood star would like that kind of a lady. Of course, he saw past my graceful lady facade and realized there was a strong woman underneath all that. And he gave me the confidence to be myself in all different facets of my personality. But I didn't write him anything crazy. I was just very open and honest with him and very refined and well-mannered. And I came across like the Joan Fontaine character in Rebecca. And so when I saw pictures, when I knew he fell in love with me as the graceful lady, and I saw pictures of Laurie McBride online, she didn't look like a graceful lady. So, and because I already knew he'd fallen in love with me, I knew that he didn't love her. Even though she doctors the photos, you can tell he did not love her. She is like the total opposite of the graceful lady. She's got this, I don't know. When I saw her pictures, I could tell she was very shallow. I didn't realize how evil she was back then because I was kind of innocent and naive and a church woman and, like I was a virgin when I married my husband. But I could tell that she was very self-centered and she's gotten better about this, but she was wearing really gaudy clothes sometimes. And there were times she was wearing purple lipstick. She's removed all those pictures from the internet, by the way. She had one picture where she had a V-neck going all the way down to her belly button when she was going to seduce Franco Nero in London, England. All those pictures have been doctored. They've all been removed. They're trying to make this evil woman look respectable. But the point is, I've got a link to the movie Rebecca underneath this video. When I watched that movie, the Joan Fontaine character is like me, and Laurie McBride is like Rebecca. You got to see that movie. It's like Jesus allowed that movie to be made to make a state, and then Brent Spiner is kind of like Max de Winter, the male lead, who's stuck with this Rebecca and he can't stand her. And he's putting on and he's pretending like they're married and like they're happily married and everything. And then when the Joan Fontaine woman comes into his life, he finds a woman who truly loves him, and not because of his position or wealth, but just for who he is. And that's what Brent and I had. We had a relationship like that. I was not enamored by his wealth or his fame. I fell in love with a man who loved me as the graceful lady. I thought, I have a lot of respect for him because the way I came across to him, I was not at all inappropriate. I was totally proper, and I was so surprised that he saw past my graceful lady facade and realized that there was a passionate woman underneath all that. And he kind of fed into that and he brought it out of me. And it was just the most awesome love. And I have been standing behind him because I know he really loved me. I figured it out in 1999 when I realized who Laurie McBride was. When I realized she was a Vatican agent, I knew then that he only got involved with her because she was a criminal and she somehow manipulated him into a relationship. Just go watch the movie Rebecca and check out my link. As you can see, I'm looking a lot better now that I'm dressing like a soft classic with my hair and my makeup and my clothes. And I want to gradually orb myself into this identity image. Pretty much most of my clothes are good, so check out the link. Watch Rebecca. I am like the Joan Fontaine character, and Laurie McBride is like Rebecca. And you could even use that in court, Brent. That movie is like it's our relationship and what we've been dealing with.